Hello, boyos.
Hello, boyos.
This is the Loner Gamecast, where we discuss all things video games. My name is Jake. That's Nick. This week we're talking about Marvel's Avengers. Is a big old fat stinking nasty flop. PS5 users are getting banned for doing bad things. New studio has been formed. We're going to talk about that. Xbox is going to be on the TVs soon. It's going to be a smart TV app soon. And Google Stadia is still a thing. Let's get into last week's question here. Last week's question, we asked you what the game of the year will be for the Game Awards. We got one response here from Cooking for Group. He said, hey, I think Hades should win Game of the Year. And best Thanksgiving food is pumpkin pie. I think both of those answers I'm down with.
I disagree with the pumpkin pie.
Oh, how dare you?
You know, you go one slice and it's like, okay, I've had enough pumpkin pie.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, there's so many other better pies, though.
What's a better pie than a pumpkin pie?
Apple pie.
I thought you were going to say cream pie.
Coconut cream pie. I had that.
I'm a big fan of the pecan pie myself.
I do like the pecan pie.
I like a pecan. You know, I discovered this over this holiday. We got a big old pumpkin pie, and you know, normally we get the Ready Whip, you know. But this time, you know, my family's been having some serious issues with milk issues and the old stomach issue, you know, and
all those issues.
And they picked up coconut Ready Whip.
Oh.
And we put the coconut Ready Whip on the pumpkin pie. And
what was that?
It was quite delicious. It was nice.
Sounds delicious.
And it's very like, yeah, it's just nice. It's nice and floaty. It's good. I like it. Hades is fine.
Yeah,
it's good.
Yeah, it'd be good if that one.
Yeah. We got one more comment here. This one's from Paul Williams, and he said, "I like listening to this podcast." Thank you.
We like reading that. We like reading that.
I did comment back. I said, we like you listening to this podcast.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, let's get into what you've been playing. What you been playing, Nick?
A lot of things. Since I got the PlayStation, the new one, I've been, scored one. I don't know how miraculously.
I still don't have one.
Yeah, it'll come, boy. It'll come, baby boy. I've been playing Astro's Playroom, which comes pre-installed on all PlayStation 5s. I beat it in about 3 hours. It's cute. It's really good.
Wait, it comes pre-installed?
Pre-installed.
So it's like the U2. It's like that U2 album that was on the iPhone. Remember that?
Well, I remember that. But the thing about this one is you can delete it. You can't get rid of that U2 album.
You couldn't?
That's what I remember. Is like
I thought it was just like one day
through a few hoops to delete it. You gotta like.
I thought it was just one day people woke up and they had like hundreds of U2 songs and they're like,
God.
What the fuck?
I don't know.
Anyway,
I don't have an Apple phone, so I didn't have to deal with that bullshit. No, it's super fucking cute. It's only about 3 to 4 hours long. It's a pretty easy platinum. I don't think I'm gonna go for the platinum though. I collected everything, did everything in the world, I guess there is, except for some of the trophies. Like bounce a ball on top of your head for 5 times without it dropping. I was like, okay, that's kind of cool, but I'm not going to do that. Really good. When you get your PlayStation, I highly recommend it. It's a really good showcase of the controller and what it can do. No tears for me. No tears, Jake.
I'm not getting one, man. I've given up.
You'll get one eventually. It may not be this year. It may not be next year. And then I've played a little bit of Bugsnax. I say a little bit. I've fucking beat Bugsnax.
Really? You beat it?
I beat it. That game's a slog.
But you beat it?
I beat it because I told you in this generation, if I have a game I will play it to completion before I start the next game. So first, I beat Astra's Playroom. I beat it. Then I started up Bugsnax. I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool, kind of fun. And then it's just kind of nothing. Like, it's interesting at first, and then it just kind of repeats itself over and over and over again. And you're like, okay, all right, I get it. Kind of bored. It's, as you were saying before the show started, it's Pokemon Snap, but it has none of the characters that you know and love. It's got cookies. Like, the cookies are always spiders, which is really weird. There's baked potatoes, but there's also loaded baked potato. And it's like, okay, but they're the exact same thing. And it's kind of like, and then you got, what do they got? There's, there's a burger. And that one's kind of cool. Like, when you load up, you see a burger and it's like, bunger, 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 right? And then you get to the desert area and there's a barbecue burger. And you're like, ooh, and it still goes bunger, 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 bunger. And
Bunger, bunger, bunger.
yeah, I'm not even kidding. That's what it sounds like.
Because it's Pokemon, yeah. It's not the beloved Pokemon characters, but what's more beloved than a barbecue burger,
But it's more than like Pokemon Snap, because it's like a puzzle almost. You have to find a way to capture these guys, even though it looks like you can just reach down and pick them up. You cannot. It's kind of annoying. It's like, oh, this Pokemon, you have to catch it by using this tool that you don't have yet and you don't know about. So you can't capture that one, but you'll spend like 50 hours trying to figure out if this trap works with this Bugsnax, and it doesn't, and it's kind of aggravating. So I plow through the main story. Main story's okay. You go to this island. This island's got Bugsnax, and you're looking for somebody, and that's the whole thing. And then if by the end of the game you find that somebody, and something else happens, and it's very meh. It's a very bleh game. But to be fair, I didn't do any of the optional quests, any of the side quests. I just went through the story. And then today I started up Spider-Man again on PlayStation.
Like OG Spider-Man or Miles Morales?
Yeah, like 2016, 2015, or 2018?
17?
Something like that.
Yeah.
The newest one. The newest Spider-Man, but not Miles Morales.
Well, then it's not the newest one, you fucking liar.
The Peter Parker the newest Peter Parker Spider-Man. I restarted that one.
Nice.
And that game looks great on the PlayStation 5. Runs at 60 frames. Looks great.
How do you like his new face?
I hate it. I absolutely hate it.
He looks like a little boy now. It's so weird.
I don't understand why they had to change it. I kind of want to ask them why they changed it. It throws me off because his face does not match his body.
This is this is very inside baseball for me and you, Nick, but he kind of looks like our friend Dale now.
Yeah, a little bit. But even like in the cutscenes, he looks like a regular person. But like if you're just like walking around like Octavius's lab and you're like doing stuff, he's got the lab coat and you can see his face. There's something off about his face, and you're like, they didn't finish something. It just looks very out of place and very weird.
Do you think they changed his face because they're developing the new game and they had already finished like the design of his face for the next game, and they're like, he looks more like this, so we should change it for the upgrade? I don't know if that makes sense to what I was saying. Does that make sense?
They made a new game.
Like they're working on the sequel for sure.
Right.
And like in the sequel, they changed his face. And they're like, well, we might as well change his face in this upgrade then.
Well, why change his face? He's a fucking digital,
I don't know,
render. Just keep the face. He's got all the facial movements. Why did you squish his face and make him like younger? Like it didn't make any sense to me. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, because I feel like the guy before looked like a mid-20 year
Parker.
old, and now he looks like teenage Peter Parker again. Peter Parker.
Peter Parker. Yeah,
Peter.
He does, and it throws me off when he doesn't have the mask on. But I'm sure I'll get over it. I'm sure it'll fill in just fine. Astro's Playroom. I'm gonna give a quick review, quick ranking. Astro's Playroom, easily 8 out of 10. Bugsnax, like a 5. Spider-Man, 9 out of 10.
8 is high. That's a high score, dude.
It's a very well put together game. There is maybe one section that I was like, I'm kind of over it. But everything else was like, oh, that's clever and that's cool. Or, it's a really good, short little game. And it only takes 4 hours to beat. So if you like PlayStation shit and you know a lot of old school PlayStation games, even new school PlayStation games, they make a lot of little references to those games. And it's kind of fun. Like, you see a guy with a video camera and you're like, oh, what is he pointing at? And you look at what it is and you're just like, what is it? Oh, it's Dante from Devil May Cry shooting a guy in the air. And it's like, that's kind of cute. It's really cute. Yeah, I give it an 8.
I was looking into this Spider-Man thing, okay? And I was like, maybe they made him look more like a tweeny bitch because that's what the voice actor looks like. I feel like the voice actor looked more like the old version. So
really?
It's weird. It's a weird.
What have you been playing?
I couldn't get a PS5. So I've been down
like
in
everybody else.
Yeah, I've been down in the dumps. I have Spider-Man Miles Morales, but I can't play it because I bought it for the PS5. It's just sitting there, staring at me. Can't play it. I'm not gonna buy another version of it. Why would I do that? So I'm like, I need something to play. So I played a bunch of Tetris, but then after that, after that, I decided to pick up Final Fantasy VII Remake. I actually picked it up on Saturday, because it was on sale for like Black Friday or whatever. It was like half off, so I got it for like $25 or something. Dude, I'm fucking loving this game so far. I'm only like 4 hours in or something like that.
It's super good. It's super good.
I really fucking like it. I think I love this script. Like, it's just so stupid. It's just like, and Tifa, when she moves around and she's like, what do you do? What do you do? She has these like harsh movements. It's just like hilarious, dude. And what's that girl's name? Jessie.
Jessie, yeah.
Just like flirting with Cloud nonstop. Dude, I love this game. It's so cheesy.
It's very cheesy.
Sephiroth or Sephirox or whatever the bad man's name is.
You nailed it both times.
He's just there. He's just bad man. And Cloud's just good man, but hard to get man. I fucking love it. The combat's so fun. It is. I like the idea of that, like, turn-based, but also like third-person action. And you can kind of play it any way you want. You can like build your quick buttons so you don't even have to open the menus if you don't want to. But I kind of like doing it that way too. Kind of reminds me of VATS a little bit, you know?
Yeah, I could see that.
It's sort of like the VATS system. The only thing that I found a little weird is that you have to use ATB, which is like the little bar that you use to slow down time. You have to use ATB to use items. I'm not a huge fan of that. I wish you could just use items all the time. But
like make it a button to like pull up a menu, or just what, like you want to assign. How would you do it?
Well, like you have to have ATB to use a potion.
I see what you have to use it up. Yeah, absolutely. It's like an action. I looked at it kind of like, this is your action this turn.
Yeah, it's an action button. Yeah. So I kind of wish that you could just use a potion whenever and it didn't affect your turn. Just like in a turn-based RPG, you can use a potion and still. Well, it depends on I guess it depends. Sometimes like Pokemon, I guess if you use a potion, that takes up your turn. So I guess it makes sense. But to me, that was like cumbersome to me for a second. But I like switching between the characters, and then you can also just like tell a character what to do while you're playing as a different character. It's really cool. I like the combat a lot. The game is like overly pretty. It's like way too gorgeous. It's a really good looking game. Yeah, I like it a lot, but I'm only like 4 hours in, so maybe I'll hate it next week. We'll see.
Maybe.
Been playing it on stream, so
I don't anticipate you'll hate it. Probably not until the end, and then you just kind of get burnt out.
Yeah,
I feel
I might get burnt out, but it from everywhere I've read, it's like 40 to 60 hours, which is long, but it's not it's not Persona long. So I think I can handle it.
I think you'll be fine if it keeps your interest. I think you'll be fine.
Yeah, well, and also like I could see myself like if a combat section gets like too hard, I could see myself being like fuck this and just giving up or something.
Yep, for sure.
That's pretty much all I've been playing. A lot of Tetris 99 as well, just cause
Tetris 99.
Yeah, it's on the Switch. It's nice to play. It's nice to play in the bed,
Not Tetris Effect.
Yeah, I've been playing that a bit. It just doesn't run on my computer very well. So.
It's a bummer. That's a bummer.
Oh yeah, I'm the host. Let's get into the news. I forgot. First piece of news here, talking about Marvel's Avengers. I think we talked a little bit about how Marvel's Avengers player base is down maybe last week or a couple weeks ago. But a new news source has come out and said Square Enix has not recovered development costs for Marvel's Avengers sales yet. And it says yet. I doubt it ever will. Yeah, I don't know. That's not surprising. Oh.
No. Well, I mean, it is surprising.
You're frozen.
Considering that, like...
Oh, no. There you are.
Hello?
Your video feed is behind your voice now, but it's okay.
Okay, great. Excellent. It's not so... It's a little surprising because it's sold really well. Like, it was, like, on the top spot of the month for, like, 3 months or something like that. Mm-hmm. And I was like, wow, that's pretty crazy. It's still like number 3, or it's still up there. But I think people had just got it, played it, and went, wow, there's nothing in this game. I'm kind of bored.
Well, I think like all the people who were going to buy it bought it in that first week. But this is the type of game that needs to be number 1 the week it comes out, and then number 3 the next month, and then continually number 3 for like the next few months or whatever, like in our NPD numbers. And it's not going to be on the list at all coming up. It's sold a lot in its first weekend, but like it's done. Like I don't see them like recouping after this either. I'm kind of worried about Square Enix too, because like I wonder how this hurts them, because I mean, what's the last big franchise that Square Enix had? Like Tomb Raider, and the last 2 Tomb Raider games like didn't do astronomically well. The first one did pretty well, but like the 2 subsequent Tomb Raider games didn't do well. They lost Hitman. What do they have?
Lose? Really?
Well, they gave it up. Yeah. I guess Final Fantasy, right? They did that.
Yeah.
So
and people fucking love that game. So
Final Fantasy 14 is doing really well, and that is worth mentioning too. Marvel's Avengers is failing right now, but they could bring it back. I mean, like Final Fantasy 14 was up, like no one liked it when that first came out, and now it's like the biggest MMO ever. So Square Enix has a track record for turning things around, so they could. I mean, I feel like they're more likely than Anthem, because at least there's the name recognition behind this. Where
Yeah,
it's like, well, they fixed the game and it's Avengers. Like that might even get me just because I like Avengers.
yeah.
Um,
You
you know what I mean?
from what I hear, they have to do a lot of stuff to it though.
Mm-hmm.
Change a lot of things, add a whole lot of things. Um, with what's kind of crazy is like with all of these games that have these huge names like Avengers or Star Wars or Disney or some huge name, some huge entertainment name. I feel like it's rushed. Every time, anytime that's one of those kind of games comes out, and it's like, oh, this is like a very popular, just not only video game franchise, it's also a very popular movie franchise. We need to get this out as soon as possible because the hype for Iron Man is so high right now that if we don't get it out,
I just feel like
it
that's the
won't
case
sell
with
well.
Disney properties because
Yeah,
look at what was in your what you've been playing. You got Spider-Man in there, and then you think about like Arkham, like those games are always awesome, and they've really taken their time with the upcoming ones. I feel like
yeah,
it's a Disney thing because I feel like Disney
that's
just
true.
underestimates how important video games are.
Yeah, how critical they are in this time.
That too, I think. Not to like pat gamers on the back because gamers are a bunch of dumb idiots, but like I think they underestimate how smart gamers are when it comes to being bamboozled. Like
Yeah.
it's a hypercritical sort of community, video games, and
Oh yeah.
Disney's not used to that. I mean, they're kind of seeing it with Star Wars because that's also a hypercritical, but like every other Disney thing is like they can just keep pumping out, fucking Lion King and
Yep.
Mulan and all this shit. And
Yep.
it doesn't matter. But with video games, it does because it's not just that first weekend that matters like in movies. You have to keep getting those subsequent sales because it's
Yeah.
so expensive to make these games.
It really is because you work for what 2 years on a video game minimum,
Sometimes more.
and you
Yeah.
have to make that back, and you're not gonna make that back in the first week. There's no way, unless you're a tiny studio like the Fall guys,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
shit blows up. Like that's one in a lifetime, you know. Um, yeah, with these AAA games that everybody sees, you really have to put your best foot forward, and you have to keep that project going, even if you're going to be in the hole at first, you know. And it's Disney; they shouldn't really even worry about, oh, we need to make our money back on this. It's like you have the money, just keep it up, and I'm sure something
It,
good is
it,
going to come of it.
it's so confusing to me because like a Marvel's Avengers game just seems like a slam dunk sort of video game. And so does, Battlefront, Star Wars Battlefront. Like that seems like a slam dunk, like easy. Just make it right. And they fucked it up. And we love to blame EA, but here's the same shit with Square Enix.
Mhm.
I'm wondering if it's more of a Disney thing than than
Then EA,
we than we have initially realized.
it could be.
Let's
Yeah.
move on. Let's move on.
Okay.
PS5 users reportedly getting banned for selling PlayStation Plus collection games. So basically, the PS Plus collection is a collection of what? How many games are there? Like 20, 30
20,
games?
20 or 30, somewhere in there.
Yeah, just like 20 or 30 classic PS4 games that if you have a PS5, you can download all these games if you have PlayStation Plus. If you download them from PS5, and the only way to download them are from PS5, you can play them on your PS4.
Right.
But what people are doing, since people aren't able to get their PlayStations, their PS5s right now, what people are doing is they're basically selling their PlayStation account so they can log in to someone else's PlayStation account and redeem that PlayStation Plus collection for other people. And I guess people who are doing this are getting banned.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't give a fuck. Like, dude, let people do that. Like, if they want to do that, let them do that. I don't get it. It's supposed to be like incentive to get a PS5, but I can't fucking get a PS5. What are you talking about? Like, fuck your incentives, bro.
Yeah.
I don't get it at all. I don't understand why Sony has an issue with it, unless people are like smurfing people online. I don't know.
But they don't have an issue with all of those, people that are scalping.
Right? Yeah, they don't do anything about that.
Yeah, no. But the people that are like, hey, bud, if you give me like $10, I'll take your account, log in, and download the collection for you. Like, that just seems like a service kind of a thing at this point.
Yeah.
Like, if you're willing to pay a few bucks, I mean, if as long as it's not like, well, I mean, you can't get away with like being like, hey, if you give me $60, I'll download Monster Hunter for you. It's like, no, I can go to the store and pick up Monster Hunter for super cheap, or so they can't be selling them for any more than than the game's worth. So it just doesn't
a lot
make
of
any
games,
sense.
though. It's a lot of games.
It is, but if you are in the collection, you have to add everything to your library, and that takes a minute.
Individually, really?
Yeah, individually.
You can't just be like add all to library.
No,
That's stupid.
at least not that I could find. Yeah, it's very strange. Very, very strange.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't understand why they wouldn't just put this on the PS4 to begin with.
Right? I don't understand it either. It's like, oh yeah, PlayStation Plus exclusive, but you can't get it unless you have a PlayStation 5. But it also works for the PlayStation 4 because all of these are PlayStation 4 games.
Yeah.
Then why not put them there? Like, it makes no sense.
He's bonkers. He's bonkers.
He's dumb.
I didn't add it to the news, but did you hear about I saw this story that's like PlayStation is outperforming Xbox, not financially, because obviously, but like tech wise with video games. Like, the games are outperforming on PlayStation, even though technically the Xbox Series X has stronger components than the PS5. And people were kind of wondering why that is. I thought it was sort of interesting to think about.
Interesting.
I think there's a couple reasons why that's the case. I think like one reason is like probably because they know, like, people developing games they know that the game is going to sell more on a PS5 than an Xbox, probably. So they probably specially designed it for PlayStation. And then on top of that, PlayStation, I guess, and this is from what I've just kind of heard this through the grapevine, but PS5 was actually supposed to launch last year.
Was it really?
They decided to delay it because they knew Xbox was waiting. So they actually sent out dev kits like last year. So I think like people have just had PlayStation dev kits a lot longer than the Xbox dev kits, and that's probably another reason. Ultimately, it does. Ultimately, it really doesn't fucking matter. But like, I just thought it was kind of interesting.
It is interesting. It's true. I did see the PlayStation 5 dev kits at the Gearbox studio or whatever, and I didn't see an Xbox one. So you may be right. That may be a true thing. Is like people just have had PlayStation.
Well, we know
5
for sure that they showed off, like, if you remember last year, they're like, here's all the components, but they like didn't show the box. It was like in this weird metal box thing with Jeff Keighley or something. You remember that last year? I
do remember that. Yeah. He like went down, and it was kind of a boring presentation, but it wasn't like for marketing. It was more for information, and that was
people kind of forgot about it completely.
Yeah, I do remember that. So I think you're right. I think that the studios have just had them a little longer, and they know how the infrastructure works at this point, and they've know what they can do to push the console itself a little bit more than the Xbox.
Yeah, I often am right.
Oh, okay. Excellent.
So BioWare and Ubisoft veterans create Yellow Brick Games. Mike Laidlaw, he worked on Dragon Age as creative director. Thomas Giro, Jeff Skalski, and Friedrich Saint Laurent B are making a new studio. They've worked in BioWare, EA, Blizzard, and Ubisoft. They also gave a very corporate speech. This comes from Retro VS HD
on Reddit.
On Reddit. Oh,
yeah. No, like I clicked into this and I read the article or whatever, and then I went to the Reddit comments, and this guy sums it up pretty fucking well. It's just like all these people are making a new studio, and they did a corporate speech, and that was pretty much it.
Oh, look at this! I found a website.
Oh, you found a website?
Yellow Brick Games. We've got, based in Quebec City, Yellow Brick Games was founded by video games industry veterans with the goal of leadership in new trend of triple-I development. Triple-I? Focused... Triple indie, so it's like high-end indie games. Okay,
yeah, it's like
you can't just call it double A anymore. Like we can't just do that. Focus. Well, I guess like I get it because double A has like this weird connotation with it. I guess, but focused, high-quality titles that put the player's experience first, developing both innovative gameplay and original IPs. Our team also puts a strong emphasis on work-life balance, as we believe fulfilled team members deliver the best content. Oh, so they're like, don't believe in crunch, even though, let's be honest, they're gonna crunch. Yeah, I don't know. So these are dudes they worked on Dragon Age.
One of the dudes worked in Dragon Age. The other, they worked in BioWare, EA, Blizzard, and Ubisoft. I wonder if we'll get like a huge like scandal story about workplace etiquette from this. If these are all the guys that got fired from Ubisoft.
Oh no, I don't. I think these are different people.
I think they are too. None of the names are familiar to me, but it would be really funny if it was like, oh yeah, all these people that left their
got fired for being.
They got fired, and they're making a studio that is okay with bullying.
It's okay with sexual assaults.
Well, if you look at them, they're all dudes.
Well, of course,
right.
This is video games we're talking about.
Yeah, okay. Women can't make video games. They don't know how.
Well, that's not what I'm saying. The stigma's changing, certainly, but it's been a primarily dude-dominated industry for a long time.
Right.
They're also all French, so of course they're white.
What is that? What?
Well, it's a bunch of white dudes, but it's like, of course they're dudes because video games, and of course they're white because they're French.
Oh, I see. I wasn't even trying to make it a race thing. You just did that on your own.
Well, you brought up inclusivity.
Okay. So. I didn't even notice that. I don't see color.
Oh my god, what a white person thing to say. That's so bullshit. Yeah, I don't know. I wonder what they'll make. I'm very curious.
Yeah. A Dragon Age sort of game.
I guess. I don't know. A triple I don't know. I'm gonna get like a Darksiders type game where it's just like, this
game was all right. It's fine.
It's pretty good. Yeah,
we sold it for $25 on the.
I've certainly played worse. I don't know. Yeah, I mean that's interesting. Not much to say though.
No.
Microsoft hints at turning Xbox into an app for your TV. This comes from Tom Warren at The Verge. In an interview with The Verge, Xbox chief Phil Spencer has revealed we'll likely see an Xbox app appear on smart TVs over the next year. Quote, I think you're going to see that in the next 12 months, said Spencer. When asked about turning the Xbox into a TV app, quote, I don't think anything is going to stop us from doing that. Spencer previously hinted at TV streaming sticks for Microsoft's xCloud service last month, and this latest hint suggests we might see similar hardware on an Xbox app for TVs during 2021. Microsoft is currently working on bringing xCloud to the web to enable it on iOS devices, and this work would naturally allow xCloud to expand to TVs, browsers, and elsewhere.
Interesting. So
this seems logical.
yeah,
I think it's interesting that he's just like straight up like, oh no, we're not even gonna like we'll probably make a stick, but like we're just gonna put this straight on smart TVs. Like,
yeah. What I find interesting is it's kind of like a stepping stone into what we've been saying since we started this show, and Xbox is just going to end up on PlayStation.
That's because it could just become an app.
It could come on Switch. It could it doesn't seem like they're pushing hardware a whole lot.
Switch seems likely.
Well, PlayStation seems likely. I've seen a whole bunch of tweets where it's like, hey, I want to play with my friends, but I couldn't convince them all to buy an Xbox. But I really want an Xbox. And Phil Spencer's like, hey, man, buy a PlayStation 5. Go game with your friends. It's cool. Like, no hard feelings. Just game whenever you like. It just seems like Xbox's thing is more of like, it's less of console wars, even though those aren't really a thing anymore. It's more of like, if you love video games, I love video games, everybody loves video games, let's just fucking game together on whatever we can. So if that's the sense that everybody can game together and that's kind of the direction that Xbox is going, I feel like it's very possible that we'll get an Xbox app on the Switch, on the PlayStation. We already have it on the computer. And you can play Xbox with your friends who play computer games, and that's pretty dope. You know? Yeah.
To me, it concerns me just slightly when we talk like this about Phil Spencer and like the heads at Xbox, where it's like they just care about games. It's like, no. I mean, they're just looking at the most profitable thing. Like, so is Sony. I don't know. I think you're right. Like, it's very possible that like we'll see Xbox come to PlayStation. Is that a good thing?
No.
I don't know. I don't. It's not a bad thing.
See, I think then we get into like the crux of capitalism at that point.
Well,
where you start getting a monopoly and Sony owns everything. You know.
Other way around, I think.
You think the other way around?
Yeah, because Sony is doing the outdated thing, and like we're old people, Nick. Like we'll be the ones buying the consoles, and people right now are buying consoles, obviously, because you know both the PS5 and the Xbox are selling out like crazy. But you know, if Xbox dominates this, you know, they're the ones that turn into Netflix. You know, they're the ones that turn into Amazon, not Sony. But you know, it's not Sony. Like, because like what happens when the PS6 comes out and everyone's like, what do I need hardware for? You know, internet is fantastic now, and
for the exclusives, internet's never going to be fantastic
for the exclusives, sure, but it's like, do I really need it? Because I have Xbox on my smart TV, you know,
right?
And,
right,
but then that worries me for what you're saying, because we get the exclusives on PlayStation, and it worries me that Xbox potentially turns into a phone gaming service over time, and we lose good games because Sony now isn't selling enough to even warrant making these AAA. And this is, I'm really thinking pie in the sky far away from now, but like, these are the stepping stones, and things happen faster than you expect. Sony's in a very good position right now, but like what Xbox is doing seems good on the surface, but there's something shady about it. I don't know how else to explain it.
Well, I don't think I think once, I don't want to say once. I think that if we had internet speeds that were manageable to play this kind of stuff, like online all the time, and not get charged out of the ass because we reached our data limit, I think it would work just fine. But for the way that like the government,
but we can keep saying that forever, but like it's eventually that is going to be the case. Everything advances,
except for internet.
That's not true though, because think back, just like 5 years ago, it was very hard to get good internet, and
I'm thinking back 3 years ago when we had internet and we had unlimited access. But now that, people are using so much internet.
It's still an option.
It's an option, but you have to pay like up to $120 extra a month if you use so much. We never had that before, and now we do. So I think that's going to hold this back.
Data limits have always been a thing. They're just a lot more noticeable now because we use a lot more internet now. I just think internet companies they'll follow along, especially if Microsoft is working with them and is like, hey, if you make your internet easier, we'll fucking give you a cut of this. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
times will progress. Times always progress. I mean,
it takes a village to raise a child. And
just like 10 years ago,
are you frozen?
I'm not frozen
for me. Hold on.
Just stop talking,
Hello?
Nick. Just let me talk.
Oh, there you are. There I am.
So just think about at the start of last generation, the PS4. It's still in that weird spot where it's like, do we call it last generation? Do we call it current? It's weird.
Yeah.
But last generation at the start, 500 gigs, and this is just hardware space or hard drive space.
Right.
But, I think they equate a little bit. Like, we thought 500 gigs was, like, a lot. Now a terabyte is barely enough. Same thing happens with internet, where it's like, a terabyte of internet data used to be a lot, but now it's not. And internet providers will see that. And they're like, well, people are just going to switch away. I don't know. It's hard because internet providers do sort of have monopolies, so there's not that much competition to push them in the right direction. But I think like if Microsoft is like, hey, work with us here, we'll give you a cut. Like, and like that's not out of the realm of possibility, especially with Google getting into the same thing, same sort of space. Everything's moving in that direction. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I get it. I get what you're saying.
Like that's just the way technology works. It's larger and more accessible. And by the time like the PS6 would, in theory come out, we'll see if there is a PS6. We'll be at that point, I think, where people are just like playing on their fucking TVs. It's just the norm. Yeah. And it's just like norm,
Yeah, well, we do have 5G. And that's,
that's
putting
true.
Memory chips into our brain. So maybe we'll be able to play video games in our eyeballs.
It's where the coronavirus came from.
Oh.
So
Bill Gates and his...
Damn you, Bill.
And your 5G Illuminati bullshit.
Speaking of Google Stadia, the competition to Microsoft.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
This is, capitalism at work here. Google says it's got 400 games in the pipeline for Stadia. This comes from John Porter at The Verge. Google has around 400 games on the way for Stadia, a game streaming service, according to Jack Boozer, the service's director of games. Boozer gave the figure in an interview with Mobile Syrup, where he said that the company has, quote, a roadmap of about 400 games in development from 200 developers, end of quote, for the service. These games in development include exclusive titles produced by Google's own internal game studios, as well as partners like Harmonix. The company has made some big hires as part of its first-party development efforts, including ex-Ubisoft and EA producer Jade Raymond and ex-Sony Santa Monica studio head Shannon Studstill. Quote, "You're going to see the amount of exclusive content on your platform scale pretty rapidly," Boozer says. He adds that some cloud-native titles will be able to do things that aren't possible on current systems because they're free from the limitations of network appliances in your living room, like a PC or a game console.
Except, Wi-Fi.
Yeah, internet.
And routers and stuff like that. So, yeah. All right. I feel like that's a whole load of bullshit.
Well, I mean, he's right. I mean, if you've got good internet, could be the move. I don't know. I it's kind of interesting that they got the old the old Sony Santa Monica head. Like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. It could Google could
God of War Ascension.
2? Google. What?
God of War Ascension 2. Is that coming to Stadia?
I hope so. I don't know. We could see some like interesting stuff coming out of Google just because they're like trying really hard. They're like, please look at me.
I suppose they are, but they have yet to have anything worth like wowing over, I feel like they're just kind of like, we're trying really hard to get this going, but we just don't have anything so that to get you over here. It's there. We can do this and we will work on it. But also we have nothing to show for it. And I think that's the worst part about it. And that's just another thing it'll take time to tell where this is going and what's going to happen to that.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised to even see this exists. Just because I thought this was going to go the way of like Google Glass, And
Ouya, yeah.
Yeah, well, the Ouya, but I'm thinking more specifically to like Google, like they always have these things that just disappear, Like they try them out and they just disappear. They've had different apps.
Dude, I would have tried the shit out of Google Glass. I would have loved to have that.
It's too expensive.
It was so limited.
And expensive as fuck for what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a lot of fucking games though. That's a lot of games. But
I kind of have a feeling that it's going to be like phone games. Like, oh, here's Farmville 2.
I don't know about that. What I think they're saying by 400 games, by 200 developers, it's like a lot of those games are like Far Cry 5 and or Far Cry 6 and games that are coming to other consoles already.
Right.
But they're also coming to Stadia. So it's like really not that interesting.
But he does say that there's exclusives. Something about you're going to see the amount of exclusive content on our platform scale pretty rapidly. And that makes me think, especially pretty rapidly and exclusive content, that makes me think very cheap, very fast little games.
Maybe, but the fact that they're hiring people from like Ubisoft and EA and Santa Monica Studios shows that they're looking at like actual games and not like indie games. They've got the budget to like really go all out with this. But it's a bad sign when your main partner that you're calling out is Harmonix.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fucking Rock Band.
They got Rock Band 4,
But
5, 6, something like that.
But it does make me think, like, maybe they're working with Harmonix, right? Because they're the rhythm game guys.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe they're working with them because they're going to work with them on how to make a rhythm game work with latency and like how to combat latency in video games and streaming. So maybe that's why they specifically picked Harmonix and like called out Harmonix, because like what better way to test out your latency issues than a rhythm game? You know what I mean?
Yeah, a company that has to deal with latencies, and that's a good fucking point. Because I remember playing like, Rock Band, and you'd have to sync up everything so that it was all in time. Maybe it's the same sort of connection to the internet, and all they have to do is like slow your TV down ever so slightly compared to.
Yeah, how does that work though with your button inputs? I don't know. It's weird.
I don't know. It's very strange. Very strange, but it would be kind of interesting if that is the case.
Huh.
Huh.
How about that?
That's what we got, ladies and gentlemen. That's our thoughts.
It's something to think about for sure. Like I'm definitely, I'll give Google the benefit of the doubt. The fact that they're like still in it, they're still trying. I commend them. I commend them for that.
Yeah.
I fucking hate Google, but I prefer it over. I would rather play Google Stadia than fucking Amazon, whatever their gaming thing was called.
Oh, God, yeah.
What was that called? The Amazon. Here, I'm gonna look it up. Amazon gaming.
Amazon Cloud Gaming
Service. What's that called? Luna. Amazon Luna.
I don't remember that.
We've talked about it on the show.
Oh, I'm sure we have.
Yeah, I have no interest in Luna. I'd rather fuck with Stadia, but honestly, Xbox is the one to watch out for, in my opinion. But
yeah.
But that's the end of the show. What to look forward to next week? Fucking nothing. Nothing interesting is happening.
Until the week after.
Here's Nick's new segment, recently reviewed. I'll go down the list here. These come from what's that site that you use?
Open Critic.
Open Critic. I forget every time.
Fine. I'll write it in there.
All these reviews come from Open Critic. The way Open Critic works is it takes a bunch of different publications and kind of gives you an average for video game scores. So Immortals: Phoenix Rising, did that game come out?
Maybe
it's coming out
tomorrow. I think it's tomorrow or this week sometime. I think something
Gods and
like
Monsters.
That. It's very soon. It's very soon.
Immortals: Phoenix Rising got a 79. Empire of Sin got a 71. Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate got an 89, and Godfall with a 60. Oof. You hate to see it.
It couldn't even beat Immortals: Phoenix Rising.
I know. The interesting thing about these scores, though, is like the first week, it always seems to be a bit different than it is like a few weeks in.
I may just keep putting stuff that we've already put in this list. I may just keep putting those on just to see how the score changes.
Yeah. Especially if you're doing it and you see one that's like sort of like an interesting change, just throw it in.
Yeah.
You got a question for us, Nick?
Shit, no. It's a good question. Do I have a question for y'all?
This week's question is, will Nick have a question next week?
The answer, I already know it.
No, because it's my turn to pick a question next week.
That's the answer. That's exactly the answer. I guess we'll stick with the Google thing. Do you guys think that Google has anything up their sleeve? Do you think they're hiding something? Do you think that they've got plans? That's just armpit hair, Jake.
It's my sleeve. It's up my sleeve.
Up your sleeve. I get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Armpit hair is up your sleeve. But
same with Google.
Oh, they have armpit air up their sleeve, and they're going to release it on the Google Stadia, and that's what everybody's going to enjoy. What kind of exclusives do you think is going to come to the Stadia? And is it going to be worth anything in the long haul? I can't imagine anything's going to come out very soon about it. Yeah, that's it.
I mean, we'll see. Other plugs. Make sure you check out the Jake and Corey podcast every Monday. Make sure you check out this show every Tuesday. We are on all sorts of different streaming services like, I don't fucking know, Google, Apple,
Spotify,
Amazon, Stadia, xCloud.
Are we really on all of those? Okay.
we are on Google and Apple.
We are their exclusive. We are the Stadia exclusive.
We are the Stadia podcast.
You're hearing it now first.
Yeah, we're pretty much everywhere though. I encourage you to go listen to us on Spotify, just because it's very easy. It's very easy to do that. You can type in Lonercast on Spotify, and we come right up.
I mean, you could type Lonercast into Google, and we're the first result.
That too.
So
make sure you follow us on Twitter. I'm emergency pizza _ Nick is fatal _ microwave. Make sure you follow me on Twitch. Twitch.tv/Lonercast. I've been playing Final Fantasy VII over there. Been having a good time. Make sure you check it out. Definitely venting a little bit, so this episode stays at a good, consistent hour-long length. Yeah, so that's the show. Bye.